I don't piss off anyone.
Okay.
Well, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because we are going through this, anyway, so, like, this is part of the story. Is there something about me... Now, I don't mean to you, but I want honesty here. Is there something about me that you think makes people annoyed?
Why do you ask?
Because
people are annoyed at you online?
Because people always get mad at me online for, like, the most basic takes. Now, to be fair, people will get mad about anything online.
Right.
But I'm asking, I don't really think we go in there, do you?
See, I don't know. That's why I'm running around.
Like,
I don't know if we drop down.
I don't think so. Because we got there before.
Yeah.
And it had said a site of grace. It said, through the site of grace at the Forge of the Giants. Can you, like, bring up your map for a second? What is...
So there must be a site of grace somewhere here.
I thought there was a few ways to get there.
Hey, look at that. There's messages right there. Like, floating.
Oh. Weird. Okay.
Oh, here's a site of grace all the way down here.
Oh, alright. Okay, interesting. Like the way I say things or something, or like maybe am I like confident in my opinion, so that makes people mad?
Makes people mad at him.
I'm actually just curious on your perspective as somebody who actually likes me. Or if it's just like the internet is angry all the time.
I kind of think... Cat's stretching.
Luna had like...
Well, I'll tell you after Melania's speech.
Alright.
I have long observed the lands between. This world is in dire need of repair and death. Indiscriminate. Are you prepared to commit a cardinal sin? Very well. Let my hand rest upon you. For but a moment.
And let my hand rest within you, but for the night.
O Erd Tree, you shall burn. Burn for the sake of the new Lord. Thank you for guiding me here. The one who walks alongside flame shall one day meet the road of destined death. Goodbye.
So we got the whole cutscene again.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Basically, what happened was Marika burned the tree. Melania, sorry, burned the tree. She then looked back at us and said, "Thank you for your work and bringing me here," and then basically ended.
Wait, so
and
she's
then,
dead?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then our person woke up now in the crumbling Fair Missoula.
Okay.
That's all that happened.
Well, I do still think we should do the three fingers ending on the other save file. And
right.
The only reason I say that is because there was like a totally different interaction if you were the kindling. Because she doesn't want to work with you anymore.
Right.
And she threatens you and stuff. But do you want to play?
Sure. But I was looking this up, and the only thing that was ended in the Age of Order, one that you were saying, is just you had to complete Gold Mask and Brother Corhin's questline.
Oh, and you couldn't do them.
You couldn't do that if you did this.
Okay,
but we already did their questline. So we got it to the point where now their questline is going to continue after beating the crumbling Fair Missoula. So, in my opinion,
I'm an idiot.
No, I was going to say, in my opinion, I think 5 out of the 6 questlines can still be done now.
Okay.
The only one that can't be done is Lord of the Frenzied Flame, which I think technically still can be done. It's just, once you go into that door, then you're at the point of no return.
Well, don't mind me. I just went upstairs and had a panic attack that ruined the whole Let's Play.
No, I think we're good. I think we are good. All of them require you to go here, and all of them require you to beat the Erd Tree, or to set it ablaze, I mean.
Okay.
So, I think we are good for all 6 endings still.
Now watch, like the way you got here, like the canceling the cutscene and then coming in.
It's like...
What that does is that locks you out of ending.
Right.
Because now there's a clone of Melina running around who didn't burn. And that person becomes the Human Torch.
Right, yeah, of course.
And then they go on to fight you, Reed Richards.
Yeah, didn't you know this?
You know,
or are you a moron?
Would you be upset if they rebranded him to Reed Dix? Because, like, Richards?
No, I won't be.
Okay.
Do
you want John Krasinski back, by the way?
Yeah, I do.
Also, I'm sorry for, like, having such a scare here.
Oh, no. This game is, like, scary in general. Oh, we can go down here. And honestly, I was upset, too, because I was like, oh, no.
Well, I wasn't upset with you. I was upset with, like, the game's structure.
Yeah.
By the way, I love this game.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And I've noticed you have become more fond of it, too.
Yeah.
I've noticed you like it more than you
It's still not in my top 100 favorite games, but it's a good game. I like it.
And that's fine. It doesn't have to be. I think it would be in mine, but it's not my favorite game or anything. That looks terrible.
Yeah.
That does not look good.
What are you talking about? This looks great.
That looks really bad, actually.
No jumping ahead. Okay.
But, you know...
I'm very concerned right now.
I think we've talked about it a few times. I think we're hard on the game because it's just so different.
Yeah.
And now, I will tell you this right now. Unlike you, I'm not opposed to them doing another game of, like, a scale kind of like this. What I am opposed to, though, is this just being their new formula. So I hope that, like, when they make... Inevitably, they will go back to Dark Souls, and I know they will. Or Bloodborne or Demon Souls or something.
Right.
I do hope that when they make those games, they're a little more in the style of those games in terms of not gameplay, but like just not so big that it's so easy to miss everything.
Right.
But I like this game for what it is, and if there was going to be another Elden Ring game, I'm totally fine with it being this big or something else. I just don't want them to make every game like this from now on.
Well, and the unfortunate thing is a lot of developers see how well this sold and they think, this is the formula moving forward, and and they just run it into the ground.
Like kind of how people tried to be Skyrim for a while.
Yeah, and how people for a while, and it's still kind of going on, tried to do everything Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Like everything needed Battle Royale mode. It's like, hey, Fortnite was popular. Let's put it into everything. Right,
yeah. I think that
Oops.
That's just a really unfortunate part of gaming, is like all the companies copy each other.
Yeah.
That's why, too, by the way, when people say, well, it's not a big deal, it's just in this game, it almost never is.
No.
Whatever we're talking about. So, Activision's a big example of this. People are always like, when you or I like criticize something they do, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times, what do people say? Well, it's just in Call of Duty, it's not a big deal. But like, all the other guys, they're looking and seeing, oh, Call of Duty is the most successful thing out there. We should try and be them.
Right.
So it never ends at just Call of Duty or just Skyrim or just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If the game is successful enough, it always goes on to be part of something else too.
Right.
And sometimes that's a good thing. So, like, if the takeaway from this is gamers want a bunch of single-player content that's not microtransaction and they're willing to pay out the ass for it,
great. That's a great thing.
that's an amazing thing.
In fact, developers listen up to that. Do more of that.
Yeah, and I will say the same thing. You know, by the way, the complaint you and I have about the just the scope,
Right.
it's the same complaint people have about Valhalla.
Right.
Now, do I think this world's more intricately designed in terms of lore and stuff that I've seen, like more parts of it? That's
Right.
scary. Sure. But it's still the same idea that it's like such a big world and game that a lot of people don't have time for.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to be honest, with the size of the game,
Oh
that
my
is
word.
horrifying. With the size of the game, I have zero problems at all with the size of the game. None.
You just have problems
No
with us
problem.
Let's Playing.
I have a problem with the game locking you out of stuff.
Okay, yeah,
And
I do too.
and because the game's so huge, you have to do certain things in certain orders and whatever. That's what I have a problem with.
Uh-huh.
Because it's like, okay, not only is the game ginormous, it's like I have to do this in specific orders, and I have to arbitrarily know these orders and everything.
That said, this is one of the coolest enemies I've ever seen.
It is. Except for I don't know his health.
It was showing up. You haven't done much.
Maybe I should ignore this guy?
No, fight him. I want
Okay.
to see what he gives. I think you can beat him. I believe in you.
Thank you.
This is the kind of thing, by the way, that you go to hell and it would just speak and be like, I'm Lucifer.
And
then
you're
just
like, okay.
destroy you.
You're like, alright, cool.
That's actually in the opposite of I Am Jesus Christ. That's Agony. Remember the game Agony?
Yeah, I do.
There's a version of that where you can bang succubuses.
That sounds kind of hot. I am, like, horrified right now.
They're not really that hot. They're a little weird looking.
Oh.
Let me see if I can find a picture of them. I'm not putting in the Let's Play.
I was just going to say, why don't you
What?
I was going to say, why don't you battle this thing?
Why?
Because you're way better at these things than I am.
Because then you complain like, oh, I didn't have a good experience with the game and this and that. Because you didn't get to play the game, right?
But now I'm going to complain because I die.
Well, right, but then that's your fault, and millions of people who watch this Let's Play channel can see that.
Good point.
You know what, I take it back. The succubuses are kind of hot.
Kind of bad.
Yeah, they're kind of bad. They're also
Yep,
kind of,
I died.
They're also
Here, why
kinda
don't you
weird.
just battle this thing?
Okay, well, we've got like an
You're
angry
better.
gamer
You're
here.
better than me at this
We've got an
game.
angry gamer. Everyone look out.
An angry game.
He's going to cash in his food stamps from his unemployment to, like, come after us. That's not a joke to people who are unemployed. It's a joke to people who are purposely unemployed. There are people like that.
Right.
Like Nate's family.
Like me, because I am unemployed.
You're unemployed and homeless.
I am homeless, yeah. Someone in the comments like, how do you make fun of homeless people?
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Alright.
So that's what I deal with all the time. Can you answer my question now?
Oh yeah, I forgot to answer your
Is there
question,
something
yeah.
about me that rubs people the way of, like, maybe people think... Because I don't think this. Do people think I know everything?
I think it's...
Or what's the deal? Like,
I think it's, which... I think it has to do with how direct you are.
oh, male privilege?
And, well, yeah, very much male privilege. But I think it's... You know, you're the type of person that kind of speaks your mind, which is a good thing. I think so. But I think a lot of people online don't want people that speak your mind. I think a lot of people online want people that agree with you. And that's the problem, is I think people online, they hear you just say your opinions, and your opinions sometimes maybe aren't what is the parroted opinion on Bird App.
On Bird App?
On Bird App. And, you know, and people get triggered by that because they don't want opinions. They want, oh, hey, a random individual over here agrees with my take on this. So that's kind of my problem, or that's what I think the problem is people don't want opinions if the opinions don't agree with them. That's the thing.
Right.
People want opinions that agree with them, and they get very insecure when people don't have opinions that agree with them. Whereas sometimes your opinions don't agree with people. And the problem is you're not the type of person that just goes along with it, you know?
Oh, so like you're saying that I don't stop talking when I know I'm going to get in trouble.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, is I think people hear your opinions and their immediate thought is, why isn't this person agreeing with everything I say? And
I secretly am. I just love attention.
Right.
So, like, I actually like the most, like, SJW. Do people still say that?
Yeah.
SJW?
Yeah, I hear people say that.
Okay, like, the most, like, woke individual of all time.
Right.
It's just that I say things that aren't, because I'm like, I need that sweet Republican money.
Right. Yeah. The sweet Republican money.
My channel, personally funded by Donald Trump.
Epic.
No, that makes sense. I don't know, man. Like, I just think maybe I think stuff isn't that serious.
Well, and that's the problem, is stuff is not that serious. You know, people want to go on Twitter and they get all angry and butthurt that someone has a different opinion than them. But in reality, it's not this serious. You know, like when I hear someone with a different opinion than me, my first answer is not, I'm really insecure and upset. My first thought is, oh, I wonder why that person thinks that way. I want to hear what they say.
You don't tell them to end their life?
No.
Oh, sorry.
But like these chronically...
Yeah, me neither.
Right, yeah, no. But these chronically online Bird app users just sit around and they go, Ray, person doesn't agree with me.
Right.
And the thing is, it's the most upsetting thing of their entire life. And that's the problem, so I guess long story short, I don't think the problem's you. The problem is people can't handle differing opinions. That's the problem. And I think you're just too direct in your opinions in general.
Look at his wings. That's awesome.
I like this guy a lot. He's really cool.
Me too. That's crazy.
So is his lightning bolt thing that he uses, is that like that Grand Sax bolt you picked up in Lanedal?
You think this guy is him?
I think he's maybe something of the same creature.
We got him.
Because it seems like those ancient dragons can use like those lightning bolt rods.
Wait, my dude, he was like a World War II fighter pilot from Japan. He took him out, but he went down too. He's like, I'm going in with only enough fuel to get to America.
Kamikazed him?
Yeah.
Hey, can you pull up the map here? I just want to see generally where we are. Generally. So, one of the talisman things we need, just to give you a heads up, is all the way up here.
Is this the whole area?
It's there, yeah.
Well, this doesn't look like a very big area, but there's a bunch of bosses here.
Yeah, there's a ton of bosses.
So is this basically just like a boss rush area? Like, we're going to go through and we're going to hit, like...
I kind of think so.
A handful of bosses, one after another?
I kind of think so, because it does seem... This is obviously an endgame area that...
I guess
there's going to be a lot of bosses and everything.
Like, the towers could take time.
Yeah.
I suppose. I didn't see that until now. It's interesting.
So, let's see...
I've noticed that too. I have noticed though that like in most videos that you and I are in, people get more mad at me than you.
Right.
Which is weird to me because like your opinions are far more controversial than mine on most things.
Right.
Like being a white supremacist. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
but, like, you know what I mean?
think that's a good opinion.
Right,
yeah. No, I agree.
Like I would say like I'm closer to a middle ground between the default NPC person and like the hardcore create a character dude that you are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like there's like the NPC where it's like, oh, just somebody spit this guy out in the afternoon, and then there's like the create a character that you are, where it's like, boy, a lot of hours of bigotry went into that guy. You know, like that took a lot to make that.
Hey, you got him one shot. Nice.
Thanks. I took like 12 shots.
Well, I meant that one specific shot hit both of them.
One shot, one kill.
One shot. Right, yeah, and that's the weird thing to me is...
How bigoted you are?
Well, yes. I mean, it's not weird to me, but...
No, nor I.
To me, it's weird how everyone else is not as bigoted as I am. That's what's weird.
Your bigotry is idolized
It is. Like, everyone wishes they could be as bigoted as I am.
I certainly do.
So...
I mean, I stand in front of the mirror and I just practice, like, slurs, and I still can't even reach that.
Slurs?
I'm like, what's a better way to say this? And I'm like,
Let's think of Nate. What would Nate say here?
No, Jill's having problems with the cat in the other room.
Oh. Honestly, okay.
I guess we'd say Jill's having pussy problems. Oh, okay.
Or as a wise philosopher once said, more money, more problems.
Who said that?
But instead I'm switching out from more pussy, more problems.
That's actually true. Like, these dudes who had, like, 12 wives or whatever in the Bible, it's like...
How does that happen?
How do you put up with that? I mean,
right, yeah.
Like, imagine all the whining. I mean,
what? I mean, imagine how intelligent the conversations would be, yeah.
Hey, can you pass me one of those note cards for later? I left mine at home.
So, in order to... I was looking up, in order to complete Alexander's questline here, we have to defeat Godskin Duo, which I think is the first...
Look up there.
I think it's the first main boss of this area. It seems like there's 3 bosses here. There's Godskin Duo, there's something like Plusidax or something, Dragon Plusidax or something, and then there's Malekith.
Okay.
The Malekith is the final boss of this area.
Whoops,
But I don't think Malekith is the final boss of the game, though.
Can I ask you a question, by the way?
Yeah.
Unrelated to this. Did you see this whole thing with, you know cryptocurrency. I know you're not like a cryptocurrency guy, but you know what it is.
Yeah.
Did you see the whole thing with, there was recently a cryptocurrency, and I don't want to say the name of the guy. I was watching a video from Moist Critical about it earlier.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who that is.
I've heard the name, but I know nothing about
The
it.
Penguin Zero.
I have not heard that name.
I know you've seen his videos. He's the guy who everyone says looks like white Jesus. Like, he has like long hair, and he talks like this,
guy.
and he talks like this.
I have probably seen this guy, but I can't picture him.
Right, you're not a big YouTube watcher.
Not really.
Which is fine.
So anyways, yeah.
Anyway, so I was watching a video
Moist Man, yeah.
that he made, and I got moist because I like him. And he was talking about this story where this dude who is a influencer, content creator, or whatever, he funded this cryptocurrency, right, by getting all these people to pay money.
Okay.
So he got investors.
Okay.
And what did he do with the money? Well, he fell into a gambling addiction, and he gambled away all of the money around all of these investments.
There's an item in there you missed, by the way.
Yeah, there's a few, and I don't know where that goes.
Interesting.
But I thought it was really interesting, and he came out and he made a video about it, and he was like, hey, I know that's there, let me go get something first. He was like, hey, I wasted all this money. It's gone. All your money is gone. I made an oopsie. Did you know that that's technically a crime?
Is gambling away investors' money?
Well, to like take investors' money and use it for things that you promised not to use it for.
I mean, I would hope that's a crime.
I would hope so too, but I'm actually shocked that it is. Like, considering just how dishonest like business people in America are allowed to be, with no repercussions. I'm actually surprised it is a crime, but it is.
Okay.
Thankfully.
That's good.
And so now I'm kind of wondering, like, what'll happen around a situation like that? Because you've got this guy, right? And he just straight up on tape admitted to doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no question, oh, did he do it, did he not? And it's not like you can just later on go like, just kidding. Because it's like, well, the money's gone.
What a goof.
And you said it, so, like, even if you didn't say it under oath, like, you said it.
Right.
So what happens now to someone like that? Like, I would assume you'd get, like, sued, wouldn't you?
I would hope so.
And it's sad, and, like, you know, the guy was talking about his gambling addiction. It's like, yeah, I get that that's sad, but, like, you still have personal accountability to be like, hey, that's not my money.
Well, and that's the thing.
Like, you can gamble all your money away, and that's dumb, but that's your choice, right?
Yeah.
But,
well, there should be this understanding that it's not your money.
Right.
You know, like, for example, if you give me $100 and you say, hey, I'm going to give you this $100, I don't know why you do this, but if you'd say, like, can you give it back to me in a week?
What am I, like the guy from the Bible?
Well, yeah, again, I don't know why you do this, but I'm just saying the example.
Or like I said, watch my house, and you went in the safe and you spent the money.
Well, sure, yeah, it's like, you know, and then if I go out and spend the money, it's like, well, that's just kind of rude, because that's your money.
It's also illegal.
Yeah.
Because it's
so,
theft.
Yeah, I mean, so if someone's investing in my product, or something, and I go and spend the money anyways on something that has nothing to do with the investment, yeah, I'd hope that's a crime, because that's not what the people gave you money for.
I would too. I'm just saying that, like, considering how much things are allowed to run afoul in the American ecosystem of money,
right?
I'm just saying that I wouldn't have been surprised if somehow that wasn't a crime.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Considering that, like, insider trading is only insider trading if you're, like, the wrong person.
It's insider trading if you're not politicians.
Right.
So,
well, that's kind of what I'm getting at, is, like, the rules apply to certain people more than others, right?
Right.
Which is honestly just too bad.
Yeah.
There's, like, so many directions I can go. I'm gonna go back real quick and check out that elevator. But I thought that was interesting. And then there was a whole one around Logan Paul, too, which, like, I don't really care either way about Logan Paul. I think people have hated on that guy forever. And, like, the Suicide Forest thing was just an idiot move. But, like, at the same time, like, I don't really know if he did that, like, just to be evil. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was just a stupid move.
I think it was just a stupid move, and, like, okay, somehow, like, I have gotten destroyed by this guy. I'm gonna just gonna do this.
Well, you're getting destroyed by, like, Zeus over there with his lightning. Oh, jeez, what?
That's not supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, people have hated him forever. Like, whatever he does, people hate on him. But there was this guy named CoffeeZilla who is a YouTuber who I don't watch, who made, like, a whole year-long investigation thing on a cryptocurrency that Logan Paul ran.
Yeah.
At least according to all of this. Or, like, didn't run, was involved with.
Okay.
And essentially the whole thing that came out was, like, there were people on the team with this that ended up, like, allegedly stealing some of the money and doing stuff like that. And then Logan Paul says he kicked him off the team that ran the cryptocurrency, and then after that there was, like, all kinds of drama around it, and whether or not the project will ever come out, and all this other stuff. It's kind of just a whole thing. Mm-hmm. And now that whole thing came out, now Logan Paul says that he's suing the guy who made the video about him for defamation. And this brings up a point that I want to make, that actually Moist Critical mentioned too, that I want to get your thoughts on. So I know you have limited knowledge on this situation. You don't need tons of knowledge.
Okay.
What I'm going to say is this. What it appears like to me, like, and I'm not saying that he's doing this, this is just my opinion of how it looks, is that this CoffeeZilla guy is way less better off than Logan Paul, money-wise.
Right.
And he made this whole video about him, not to, like, ruin Logan Paul, because he did reach out to him several times, according to him, and never got a comment or anything. Mm-hmm. And now Logan Paul appears to me to be mad, and I will say the idea that's been floated by a lot of people that's sounding very plausible to me is that he is allegedly now suing the CoffeeZilla guy, not because he knows he'll win, because he won't, because defamation's really impossible to prove in the U.S.
Right.
But so that he can hurt him financially, which is,
well, and that's
morally really a broken system thing to take advantage of.
And unfortunately, a lot of people in our country do take advantage of that. Like, for example, if you sue a business for anything, unless it's like a black and white cut and paste thing that there's zero denying what this is, you're probably going to lose. And it's not because you're not going to lose because somehow, you're not going to lose because the business usually is right. You're usually going to lose You're usually going to lose because the business has like $9 trillion and you have $10.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate thing, and to me it sounds like...
Well, you might not even lose. Like, what might happen is just you're driven to bankruptcy.
Yeah, and then eventually you just have to, kind of be done. And
that's what I'm referring to, is that to people, including me, that's what that move looks like. It looks like suing for that reason, right. Because I watched some of the video, and I watched this breakdown and stuff. There's, like, no point I could see where this guy defames him. Like, where he says, like, and he's responsible for it and stole this money and this and that. Like, he never claimed that. Basically what he says in this video is, Yeah, he was kind of the fall guy for this, like, unintentionally. What it comes off as is that he was involved in promoting it, but not involved in the back end of it. But there were dishonest people involved in the back end of it, and they're the ones who screwed the project over, but he's the biggest face attached. You know, like, that's what it was.
Right.
And instead, I don't know how, like, he would get this out of it. It's like Logan Paul somehow got out of that he was saying, like, he was, like, Satan, and that he, like, intentionally ruined everyone's lives or something. And I'm kind of like, are you just doing this because you're embarrassed? Or, like, what is... Like, are you just embarrassed that someone would talk badly about you? Like, you're just used to being treated like you're above people?
Well, and I don't know if that's even the case, because after his Suicide Forest thing, I think a lot of people have talked bad about him a lot.
But he said that he's rebuilt a lot of his reputation by staying away from all that stuff and giving money to stuff and making content unrelated to it and trying to be more sensitive to things and, like, I don't know what you'd say, like,
right.
recentering who he is. I don't know.
Sure, fair enough.
And that now this drags him back into having a bad name or whatever. But it's like, to me, I feel like doesn't that just come off as a pattern of behavior where it's like you just keep being involved in bad stuff and that's not anyone's fault except yours? You know?
Right. Well,
like, even if you're not a bad guy, like...
well, it might just be a bad judge of character.
Right, like,
what it is.
You've just been involved with making mistakes or employing or being around people who have done not good things, even if you had nothing to do with them. And so by proxy, you're going to take some heat for that.
Right.
Just like if you tomorrow went on national television and said, like, I hate all Native American people or something crazy.
Right.
Like, I'm going to take heat if I keep having you on the channel.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to be honest, I probably would, because you're, like, my best friend.
Right.
And I believe in, like, giving people a platform to be like, what the hell were you doing? Instead of just, like, now if you started doing that here all the time...
Like, on your channel?
Yeah, now, not to be a dick, but I'd be like, dude, like, you can't do that. Like, this is my job. Like, I'm not going to come to your work and be like, and sabotage you.
Right.
But, like, if you did something stupid or said something stupid or whatever, short of, like, you know, touching kids or killing people for no reason.
Or, like, Adam from Funhouse jerking off in my own office.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I still don't get what happened with that whole thing.
I don't know.
I
just like the meme.
And I remember everyone got so mad when people asked questions about it, like the crew on those shows. Yeah. They were, like, really angry when people asked.
Then just tell us what happened.
And
like,
it's like,
I don't know.
You're right. People aren't owed an explanation, but, like, if you want them to keep caring about what you're doing, they're going to ask.
Well, yeah. Like,
and that's just an unfortunate part of it. Yeah, that whole thing was really weird. Yeah, for people who don't know, the whole alleged thing with that was
allegedly
this dude had, like, I guess some kind of sexual addiction type thing, which has been admitted. He does not at all seem like a bad guy to me in any way. I watched some of the videos he released after that. Just seems like, again, some poor choices. Maybe I'm extremely forgiving.
Yeah.
I'm going to look over here real quick.
There's a ladder, too, we should look up.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I'm just very forgiving of people's faults, because I have a lot of my own. But the allegations were essentially that he had filmed some stuff he shouldn't have in the office space that was shared with other people. Not of them, but of himself. And I don't know if this happened, but that there was supposedly some kind of... People were saying that there was, like, some kind of contact with fans or something, but I think personally that part of the story, from everything I've seen, was mixed up with this other dude who worked for Rooster Teeth, and you know all about that, where that happened, and there was, like, I don't want to say any, like, assault, but I would say, like, manipulation, like, emotional manipulation to get sex that was supposedly going on with that other employee.
Right.
Oh, geez. I thought this guy was just sad. He was crying, but now he wants to kill me. It's kind of like the internet. Like, you go on Twitter and people are sad, and then, like, you say, hey, buddy, are you okay? And then they try and kill you.
Yeah, also, how did he get up there?
I don't know. He's, like, the ultimate tree hugger. Yeah, so I don't know. There was, like, a lot of stuff around the Rooster Teeth company that was weird with that kind of stuff, too, and allegations with employees. And then he left the company, and all of his friends have basically implied that they're not his friends anymore and they hate him.
Well, yeah, and then when people would be like, hey, what's going on here? They'd be like, how dare you question?
Yeah, they got really angry.
It's like, okay,
which was weird.
Kind of wondering, because, like, a character on a YouTube show that we watched is now gone.
Right, so
we want to know what's going on.
Sorry I went back and forth so much. I was looking at every little thing.
That makes sense.
But yeah, no, that whole thing was weird.
But yeah, the whole Logan Paul thing, I don't know. I mean,
I only have a problem with the defamation. Like, he said that he wants to do right by people.
Yeah.
And that he wants to make sure that project still comes out and make sure people get their thing and whatever. And it's like, I applaud that. Like, if you mean that, good. Most people, when something like this happens, they just never bother.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh, well, I'm better than you. Mm-hmm. No. Now, I think that he has the money he could pay everyone back if he really wanted to. Like, right now.
Right.
If you look at, like, the amount of money he makes. But, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that. Just like I did with the Suicide Forest, believe it or not, where it was like, okay, this was a stupid-ass thing to do, but I don't think you're like a serial killer here. Like, this is clearly just dumb.
Right, it was just a poor decision.
Right, and I've made poor decisions. Maybe not publicly on that level, but I've certainly made them. So it's like, far be it from me to, like, say this guy can never come back from that. But, like, if you are deliberately suing someone to ruin them financially and not because you believe there's a case there, that makes me lose any, like, semblance of any respect I still had for you as a person.
Right.
If that's true, that is just the most scummy...
Also, you have to go back up.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you can drop down those rocks. I think that's how you cross.
So I don't know, if that's true, I think that that's extremely scummy and sad to see, because, like,
Well, it's sad to see from someone that says, allegedly, that he is trying to actively make himself look better as a person and try to move on from that.
And become a better person.
Yeah, and it's, and the thing is, I'll even give the guy the benefit of the doubt of those people that worked for his cryptocurrency company being bad people. Like, fine, it happens, Yeah. Maybe you just happen to pick a bad person to work for you, sure. But to me, the whole suing for defamation thing is something that I don't see it being a good thing.
Right, you don't see positive intent there.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. If you have a case, fine. I don't think people should be able to just defame you. But let's be real here. It sounds like the guy in his video was not exactly saying, like, Logan Paul murdered my grandma or something. Like, he's not, like, lying. He's not doing anything like that. He's not, like, publicly defaming you. He's just talking about something that happened.
Well, this is another problem, too, is people think saying the thing I don't like to hear about me is defamation.
Yeah, there's a difference between defamation and just saying what happened. Like,
or saying your opinion, even.
Yeah, or even saying your opinion. Like me saying, like, Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky had intercourse in the Oval Office.
Well, he said he didn't, so you're lying. But
he did.
Well, he said he didn't, and
okay.
I believe him. So.
Okay. Well, it's like, that's just a thing that happened.
Right.
It's not being like, well, you're defaming him. It's like, no, I'm just saying what happened. Which yeah. I guess in his opinion it is defamation because he says he didn't.
Well,
but it's like...
But in his opinion, is it defamation? Because here's what defamation actually is. Defamation is not, I said something wrong about you. People actually think that that's what it is. It's
no,
not.
That's
It's just
starts with an S. What's that word?
I think that's slander.
Slander, yeah.
But I still think that that's not quite the same thing, because slander is still more along the lines of defamation.
Okay.
You can make a mistake, and it cannot be defamation. So, like, let's say that this was all not true. Mm-hmm. I can't go any further that way that I see. Do you?
I didn't see anything.
Because there's a path, or there's like a... Is there something over here? No?
Kind of looks like maybe there was just that item.
Which we got, right?
Yeah.
Well, unless there's anything over here.
Doesn't look like it.
No. If I make a mistake and I'm like, oh, Nate said this or did this, mm-hmm. that actually has to be purposefully misleading.
Right.
For, you want to play some?
Sure.
For it to be defamation. Like, I have to know that what I said wasn't true, and I'm doing it for the purpose of hurting you and your reputation and your income and stuff like that. That is, by definition, basically what defamation is. Mm-hmm. It's not just, I was wrong. That's just not the same thing. Because if that's what it was, then all the time you would have, people being sued every single day for it, and people would win these lawsuits.
Well, could someone say, could I post a story that says, like, let's say I'm a journalist, could I post a story that says, Jay said the N-word to me behind screen, and the story gets published and everyone's like, well, Jay's a racist, and then let's say it came out it wasn't true, could I say, like, oh, sorry guys, I guess that was false?
No.
Could you still sue me, even
Yes.
though I publicly admitted that I was wrong?
Yes.
Oh, so you...
I could in that case because you lied.
Even what if I thought you said it?
You'd have to...
So to me, it was correct.
The problem is that, like, it would go both ways. I'd have to prove that you didn't actually think that, and you'd have to prove you did.
Okay.
And then whichever way it leans more is pretty much what it actually is deemed. This is why people don't usually win defamation cases. I feel like Kyle Rittenhouse won one.
Okay.
Or something like that. But most people don't. And the reason most people don't is because, like, it's actually hard to prove the intent of the other person.
Right.
It's hard to prove the other person's just a piece of shit who did it to hurt you. There are places where it's easier to win defamation lawsuits. Mm-hmm. But a lot of more Westerner cultures, like, the free speech loving, this sounds mean, but like like how Western culture is more like pro-free speech, pro-this, pro-that?
Yeah.
It's harder to win those things in that. You have to hit them while they're down or they get up. So because of that, because it always leans on the side of free speech, or at least that's
right.
what they say they do. So...
Who is sniping me? Oh, this guy.
When you're doing a lawsuit like that, to me... it comes off as if, especially when you're admitting that the guy did try and contact you, isn't that like isn't that going to be hard now to argue in good faith, like that he didn't try and get to the truth?
Right.
Because he tried to get your side of it, right?
Yeah, it kind of seems like that.
And there was also, I don't know, there was also like some whole thing around this thing that was bizarre, like the dude who made the video called someone from a state where it was a one-party consent state for phone recording.
Party consent?
That's what it's called.
Okay.
So like if in some states you need both people to agree to be recorded.
Oh, I see.
In other states you don't.
Okay.
You just need one. And not one-party consent sexually. That would be an interesting state.
Right.
I wouldn't want to live there. But... I don't consent. Well, I do!
I do, so it's happening.
Jeez. No, not that. Hey, do you want to read that Sunrealm shield?
Yeah, I wanted to get this before I forgot.
That looks cool. But yeah, no, so like he recorded from a state where it was a one-party recording state, and the other guy was in a two-party, and so they tried to say, like, I think it's up. So like, I saw in down, right there.
Oh, there we go.
Shield of Honor depicting a city crowned by the sun. It has seen better days, much like where upon the shield the seat of the sun is long faded away.
That's kind of cool.
It is. So now there's like a technicality too where, did you know like federally, I think federally, it's one party. So in the United States, the federal law is you only need one person out of 2 or 3 or whatever to agree to being recorded. So if you're on the call...
Is this video recording only, or is it also...
Audio.
Audio.
I don't know about video. It's audio through phone or any audio source.
Okay.
I don't know about how it gets when it gets into Skype. I'd assume, or like things like that, or Zoom.
Well, like, could it be like me pulling out my phone and recording you? Or is that a completely different thing?
I think that's a different situation.
Okay.
It depends where you are. Like, so the where you can't record people is when they have a reasonable expectation of privacy. However, so legally I can go in Walmart and record people.
Right.
Legally I can. However, because it's Walmart's land or whatever, they can also legally kick me out. Now, if I can prove they kicked me out because I'm black or something, now they're going to get sued.
Right.
But, like, if I can't, and it's just like, no, we kicked this person out because they were recording, make sure you hit that body, yeah. Well, now, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have any ground to stand on for suing them, and I have to leave the building if they ask, otherwise I'm trespassing.
Right.
Which is an odd thing, that they can just ask you to leave for not doing something illegal.
Mm-hmm.
I've always found that bizarre, because I've seen more places, they'll ask people to leave because they're, like, recording some TikTok, but they'll let, like, homeless people... No, I'm not hating on homeless people, I'm just saying... They'll let them do, like, panhandling right outside and haggle people.
Right.
Or they'll let druggies in their parking lot to, like, harass people.
Yeah, and it's always like, well, okay, so
like,
that's
why are you
fine,
not enforcing it there?
Right.
So that's what pisses me off about that. Where the hell are all these bosses?
I don't know. Maybe later on, obviously. But.
So, like, they don't enforce this stuff across the board, but what I'm saying is, like, you can legally, like, you could go in Walmart today, or Target or whatever, and record a vlog. But they also have the legal right to ask you to leave.
Right.
Why? I don't really know. Because I personally think if you're not doing anything that's disrupting the public peace, it logically doesn't make any sense that they can make you leave unless it's outside of store hours or you're disrupting operations.